So when a leader leaves an organization, the first question everyone asks is, who's next, right? But what if that's the wrong question entirely? What if the right question is, what's next? Today, we're going to dive into how you can architect a leadership pipeline that doesn't just fill an empty chair, but actually builds the entire future of your organization. And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? I mean, are you just playing a game of musical chairs, finding the next person available whenever a spot opens up? Or are you actually constructing something with real intention, a system that's designed to create leaders who can handle not just tomorrow's problems, but the challenges of the next decade? That is the critical difference we're unpacking here. Let's break this down. On one side, you've got what we'll call traditional replacement. It's totally reactive. It's all about plugging a hole. The main question is, who's next in line? But on the other side, you have transformational succession. This approach is proactive. It's about building up the organization's muscle, and it asks a much, much bigger question. Who can lead our next major change? All right, so how do we actually build something like this? Well, our first step is to start thinking like an architect. We need a blueprint. And notice, we're not talking about people just yet. This is all about the foundation, the strategy and the systems that are going to support our future leaders. Now, when we say organizational systems, I know it can sound a little corporate, maybe a bit abstract, but it's really just about how everything is connected. Think of it like the plumbing, the wiring, and the support beams of a building. It's the mix of your company's strategies, your team structures, and your day-to-day processes all working in concert to hit a single long-term goal. Building this blueprint really boils down to two key steps. First, you have to sit down and consciously design your strategies and your structures. You know, what's our 5-year plan? How do we need to organize our teams to actually make that happen? Then, and this is so important, you make sure that all of your systems, from how you set budgets to how you communicate, are perfectly aligned to push those long-term goals forward. But of course, a blueprint is totally useless without the right builders. So let's shift gears and talk about the human element. How do you find the people who can actually bring this grand vision to life? Because we're not just looking for managers here, we are hunting for change leaders. This quote just hits the nail on the head. It's not about finding a clone of the person who just left. The real goal is to spot those rare people who have the spark, the potential to steer the entire ship in a totally new direction, to solve problems that we might not even see coming yet. So what does a change leader actually look like? Well, for one, they are comfortable with being uncomfortable. They thrive when things are ambiguous. They don't just manage what's happening today, they inspire everyone with a new vision for tomorrow. They have the guts to drive real, strategic shifts, and critically, they are obsessed with building up their team skills for whatever is coming next. Okay, so we've got our blueprint. We've identified the kinds of people we're looking for. We should be good to go, right? Well, not so fast. There's this third, often invisible element that we have to get right: the environment. We're talking about culture, internal politics, and power dynamics, all those sneaky forces that can quietly sabotage even the best plans. And what you're seeing here is how these three forces, culture, politics, and power, are all tangled up together. Your company culture, the way we do things around here, is shaped by office politics and who holds the power. You can't change one without impacting the others. Understanding that dynamic is absolutely crucial for any leader hoping to step in and make a real difference. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? It brings our whole architectural metaphor full circle. If your culture is toxic, if politics are a mess, or if power is hoarded by a few, you've got a weak foundation. And your brilliant succession plan, your perfect change leader, well, they just won't stand a chance. Now, this all sounds great, but it also sounds hard. So how do you make it real? How do you actually turn these ideas into action? Well, that brings us to our final piece of the puzzle, the engine that powers this entire plan. And that engine is your human resources system. And look, this is not an exaggeration. Your HR system is the single most powerful tool you have to make transformational succession happen. Why? Because it's the one system that touches every single part of an employee's journey, and it can systematically reinforce the exact culture you need to build. So here's what that looks like in the real world. HR can weave your company's values right into the hiring process. They can redesign performance reviews so they're directly linked to your biggest strategic goals. They can build training programs that are all about preparing people for the future. And maybe most important of all, they can create recognition and pay systems that actually reward the kind of transformational leadership you're trying to grow. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question. Building for the future, it always starts with a single step. So, looking at your own organization, what is the very first brick you need to lay? Is it getting clear on your strategy? Is it taking a hard look at your culture? Just think about that one foundational piece you need to put in place to start building leaders for whatever comes next.